We called it, you called it, they called it. After reports circulated that Ben Affleck was patiently waiting to file for divorce from Jennifer Lopez because he didn't want to humiliate her, Jennifer Lopez went and got crunk on his 52nd birthday, dancing to Bruno Mars before throwing back a bottle of booze and filing for divorce herself a few days later. Jenny from the Block filed the legal documents on Tuesday in Los Angeles County Superior Court, despite numerous reports that attorneys were struggling to bring the marriage to a conclusion because the pair refused to talk. A lawyer did not file these documents. They were filed pro per, with JLO herself taking care of business without a legal representative. Jennifer officially listed the date of separation as April 26, 2024. Remember, those breakup rumors began in May, and coincidentally, or not so coincidentally, Tuesday marked the second anniversary of Jen and Ben's big Georgia wedding. Fun fact, JLo's wedding dress train was approximately 20 feet. That's 5 feet shorter than Princess Diana's. You know, I always have royals on the brain. This is Jennifer Lopez's fourth marriage and Ben Affleck's second. The pop superstar waived spousal support and is requesting that the judge deny Affleck the same. TMZ reports that there is no prenuptial agreement, and Jennifer's motivation to strike first is likely a strategic PR move. Back in May, a source told Page Six that Affleck would divorce on grounds of temporary insanity if he could, because he finally came to his senses following what felt like a fever dream. It's super sad to think about the fact that Jennifer's documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told About Ben, premiered on Prime Video on February 27th, and just a few months later, April 26th, her relationship was kaput. We've been covering the Bennifer breakup right here on Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered. Here's everything you might want to know about Ben and Jen's rocky romance. The Daily Mail has a stunning new theory about the breakdown of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's 2-year marriage, claiming that Jennifer chose her liquor business over her beau. Sources say that Ben was left devastated by Jen's decision to launch a cocktail line, considering the fact that Affleck is a very well-documented recovering alcoholic. The paper says JLo's alleged obsession with expanding her finances in spite of his history with alcohol is the straw that broke Ben's back tattoo. A friend of Ben's told the Daily Mail Ben had to fight to get his life back after overcoming alcohol, knowing how he lost everything, including the love of his family, knowing that he could possibly relapse. Jen decided to start her own spritzer line for more money, as if she didn't have enough. Ben saved his sobriety. Apparently, divorce documents are all drawn up, and the pair are prepared to release a joint statement about how they loved each other but just couldn't make things work. A source said Ben was the one to pull the plug on their marriage here. Jennifer had him believe that she was the same person that she was when they fell in love the first time, so he saw this as picking right back up. He doesn't like the celebrity red carpet thing, but he did it because she loved it. Her obsession with fame became too much for him. I think that Jennifer has always only been able to count on herself. So I understand why she took an opportunity that was presented to her professionally. This is clearly Team Ben trying to control the narrative. Even if Jen is obsessed with fame, I think it must compete with her obsession with love. And I'm sorry, but I sympathize with her here. I know she can be extra, but I think Jennifer Lopez loves Ben Affleck. And I think this entire situation is incredibly sad. It's official, Ben Affleck has purchased a new multi-million-dollar home in Los Angeles, California, and now TMZ is reporting that his divorce from JLo is inevitable. Here is a complete timeline of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's relationship. Some might call it the A to Z of Bennifer, and yes, I am 100% wearing a velour tracksuit in honor of Jenny from the Block. In 2001, Jen meets Ben. The pair first met on the set of their movie rom-com JLO. While the movie bombed at the box office, those flames couldn't compete With JLO and Ben's chemistry, according to Us Weekly, JLO was married to her second husband, Chris Judd, but she filed for divorce shortly after she met Ben Affleck. She was wild about the Good Will Hunting star. In 2002, Ben made a cameo in Jennifer's Jenny from the Block music video. The video acts as commentary on the tabloid's obsession with the relationship, which we know still exists today. It included surveillance footage and pap photos of the two like on yachts and walking down the street holding hands. I still love that video, and it is still a bop to this day. In November of 2002, just like that, the pair are engaged. Jennifer confirmed the engagement in an interview with Diane Sawyer. She explained that Ben proposed to her with a 6.1 carat pink diamond from Harry Winston that reportedly cost $2.5 million. She was over the moon. In 2003, Ben and Jen collaborated together on yet another movie. Jennifer played the dead wife of Ben's character in Jersey Girl. Jennifer Lopez's brief appearance as Ollie's, Affleck's wife, who dies early in the film, was noted primarily due to their then high-profile relationship. Some critics felt her presence was more of a distraction than a meaningful part of the movie. Jersey Girl did not perform well at the box office and was considered a commercial disappointment. It struggled to find an audience, particularly due to the negative buzz surrounding Affleck and Lopez's previous film, JLO. In September 2003, Bennifer mysteriously postponed their wedding just days before the two were set to officially get married. They released a joint statement. It said, due to the excessive media attention surrounding our wedding, we have decided to postpone the date. When we found ourselves seriously contemplating hiring 3 separate decoy brides at 3 different locations, we realized that something was awry. We began to feel that the spirit of what should have been the happiest day of our lives could be compromised. We felt what should have been a joyful and sacred day could be spoiled for us, our families, and our friends. In January of 2004, we discovered that the relationship was over. On January 22nd, the two publicly ended their engagement. Jennifer confirmed the news through her spokesperson, saying, I am confirming the report that Jennifer Lopez has ended her engagement to Ben Affleck. At this difficult time, we ask that you respect her privacy. Looking back on this time in their lives in 2010, Jennifer talked about the pressure in the media that was put on their relationship during a guest appearance on the Graham Norton show. She said, I love Ben. He's a great guy, but it was a lot for both of us to be under that type of siege for 2 years straight. She said, we were on the cover of every magazine every week. It was just a weird thing. Our relationship, I think, did suffer because of that. That's not the only reason, but I think it definitely played a part in the dynamic of our relationship. Now, in a 2022 interview with Apple Music, she said it was so painful after we broke up. Once we called off that wedding 20 years ago, it was the biggest heartbreak of my life. And I honestly felt like I was going to die. It set me on a spiral for the next 18 years where I couldn't get it right. But now, 20 years later, it does have a happy ending. It has the most would never happen in Hollywood ending. They would be like, that would never happen, so we're not going to write that because nobody would believe it ending. Now, back to 2004, only months after their official breakup in June of 2004, Jennifer Lopez marries Mark Anthony, the Mark Anthony. In her 2014 book, True Love, Jennifer remembers the period between announcing her split from Ben and marrying Mark, who is an international sensation, saying, Ben and I split up at the moment when I thought we were committing to each other forever. It was my first real heartbreak. It felt like my heart had been torn out of my chest. I sought out comfort in another person, tried to find someone who could make me feel loved, and wanted it In my loneliest hour, Mark came back into my life 3 days after I should have been at the altar saying I do to another man. She said, thinking back, maybe deep down, I knew this was a Band-Aid on that cut, that my wound hadn't been stitched or healed. Mark and Jen welcomed twins in 2008. They separated, sadly, in 2014. Only a year after Jennifer is married, Ben Affleck marries actress Jennifer Garner in 2005. The couple welcomed 3 children together over the years. The two divorced in 2018. A lot of discussion about the split focused on Ben's relationship with alcohol, but the pair have remained close friends and are often, to this day, photographed together, hugging and laughing, and they seem to be very, very good friends. In April 2021, drumroll please, Jennifer reunites. All it took was a plague. Jen ended her highly publicized engagement to athlete Alex Rodriguez, and almost immediately, reports started circulating that Ben Affleck was photographed visiting Jen's LA home. Less than a month later, a source told E! News, they really care for each other and they picked up right where they left off. A source told People they both seemed committed to making things work. Fast forward to 1 year later, Ben and Jen engaged again. After adding a diamond ring emoji to her Twitter name, Jennifer announced that she and Ben had gotten engaged in an exclusive video published to her personal fan newsletter in April of 2022. Did you ever imagine your biggest dream could come true? She wrote. Saturday night, while at my favorite place on earth in the bubble bath, my beautiful love got on one knee and proposed. I was taken totally off guard and just looked in his eyes, smiling and crying at the same time, trying hard to get my head around the fact that after 20 years, this was happening all over again. I was quite literally speechless. And he said, "Is that a yes?" I said, "Yes, of course that's a yes." Jennifer tied the knot in a surprise Las Vegas wedding at midnight on July 17th, 2022. Jennifer wrote, "They were right when they said all you need is love. We are so grateful to have that in abundance, a new wonderful family of 5 amazing children, and a life that we have never had more reason to look forward to." She added, "Stick around long enough and maybe you'll find the best moment of your life in a drive-through in Las Vegas at 12:30 in the morning in the Tunnel of Love drive-through with your kids and the one you'll spend forever with. Love is a great thing, maybe the best of things and worth waiting for." Just a few weeks later, after their Vegas wedding, the couple tied the knot in a second ceremony in August of 2022. Now, this was a private ceremony on Ben's Georgia estate with celebrity friends and family. The ceremony had a classic white-themed color palette. Jennifer wore a custom Ralph Lauren gown with a dramatic train, while Ben Affleck donned a classic tuxedo. The couple exchanged vows in an outdoor ceremony, and most of the details were kept pretty under wraps. In November of 2022, Jennifer said that her relationship with Ben inspired her to record her latest album. Ahead of the release of her album, This Is Me Now, and in honor of the 20th anniversary of her third studio album, This Is Me Then, Lopez sat down with Apple Music, where she revealed that Ben inspired her to get into the recording studio in both instances 20 years ago and now. The album This Is Me Then really captured a moment in time where I fell in love with the love of my life. It's all just right there on the record, and I didn't even realize what was happening or what I was doing. It was just every day going from the set to the recording studio, doing the thing, being in love, him coming into the studio. She says, "When I listen to the lyrics now, I didn't even realize that I was writing some of our story that would happen." The pop star continued, "When he came back into my life, again, the same thing happened, where I felt so inspired and so overtaken with emotion that it was just pouring out of me. When I feel good, I write music, and I wrote music, and I got in the studio in May, and by August, when we got married, it was done." But there wasn't just music on the way. In February of 2024, Jen revealed that Ben encouraged her to finish writing a movie. During a press conference for Jen's movie musical inspired by the songs from her album of the same name, Jen discussed how Ben helped boost her confidence and pushed her to finish the script. Audience and critics were heavily critical of this project. She self-financed the film, and it allegedly went over the $20 million budget. But she wasn't done. If you had hit your benefit quota by February 2024, too bad. The Greatest Love Story Never Told documentary was about to give you even more details behind the scenes of one of Hollywood's sexiest and at this point overexposed couples. In Jen's Amazon Prime documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, the couple open up about their initial breakup. Jen says, Ben and I broke up 3 days before our wedding and we crumbled under the pressure. You think you're doing okay, so you shrug it off. I had a broken heart once I lost the love of my life, my best friend, and I couldn't talk for so many years, and that was the hardest part. Jen actually tells Ben, I think I was angry at you for a long time, but that heartbreak set both of us on a course to figure ourselves out, to being better people. I think I've forgiven you all the way. I think I need to forgive myself for some things. Ben said, getting back together, I said, listen, one of the things I don't want is a relationship on social media. Then I sort of realized it's not a fair thing to ask. It's sort of like you're going to marry a boat captain and you go, well, I don't like the water. Jen adds, I don't think Ben is very comfortable with me doing all of this, but he loves me. He knows I'm an artist and he's going to support me in every way he can because he knows you can't stop me from making the music I made. He doesn't want to stop me, but that doesn't mean he's comfortable being the muse. Somewhere between March and April, the media starts to notice that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez aren't being photographed together very often, and rumors start to circulate that Ben is living elsewhere. In April of 2024, Jen rebranded her This Is Me Now tour as a greatest hit show amid weak ticket sales and canceled tour dates. Then on May 16th, the couple appears together amid separation rumors, making a private appearance at a school play to support their kids. This was the first public appearance together in 47 days. They were last sighted holding hands in New York City on March 10th. On May 17th, 2024, reports claim that Jen and Ben are living separately. Multiple sources told People magazine that the two were living under separate roofs, with Ben staying at one of their other properties as he filmed The Accountant 2. Ben was also photographed without his wedding ring, but the are they, aren't they wedding ring observations become incredibly tedious, let me tell you. On May 31st, 2024, Jennifer Lopez cancels her summer tour to spend time with family and friends. I can honestly say that I can count on one hand how many times Jennifer has been seen with Ben Affleck since making that statement. Fast forward to July 2024, Jennifer Lopez marked her 55th birthday in the Hamptons with a Bridgerton-themed party without Ben Affleck. And with the latest news that Ben Affleck has purchased a new multi-million-dollar home in California, TMZ claims a divorce is imminent. TMZ broke the story that Jennifer had tried to sell their shared home in Beverly Hills under the radar. They didn't want anybody to know back in June, but there was little to no interest, so they officially put it on the market July 11th for $68 million. According to TMZ, Jennifer is currently looking for a house of her own and claims the couple has been separated since May. The gossip site says Ben recently got all of his belongings out of the Bev Hills home while Jen was in Europe. It's not hard to connect the dots. This marriage, which is just 2 years old, is headed for a conclusion in divorce court. Hi all, Kinsey Schofield here, and I'm with my very good friend, Perez Hilton. Perez, this has been killing me. I've been following you religiously. I needed to know how you felt about this situation. And you've actually been such a sweet kind of voice throughout this scandal. I don't know what you want to call it at this point. Ben and JLO. You know, I saw you today or yesterday saying that question we saw asked of Jennifer Lopez, like how inappropriate that was. And I was like, yes. First of all, your first thoughts on the Ben and JLo thing. And then I'd like to let's walk down memory lane and pick up some highlights and lowlights of Bennifer.
So my overreaching thought is people are sheep. We are living in a world of followers. And in 2024, there's been this huge Jennifer Lopez hate campaign that has mostly originated on TikTok. And the reason for this is people saw that making videos attacking Jennifer Lopez would get them a lot of views. So then more people started making videos and more people started making videos. And on that platform specifically, she is reviled. On others, not as much. But not only are we followers, but we're also very fickle. You know, you look back when she was doing her Las Vegas residency, it was a golden era for Jennifer Lopez. Or when she performed at the Super Bowl with Shakira, another high. A lot of people don't like her for whatever reasons, and that's fine. But I do like her, and I am rooting for her and Ben Affleck. And I need to remind everyone that when they got back together again this second time around, it was Ben who pursued Jen. He is the one who initiated the reconciliation. And I know a lot of people out there say, oh, he's got, such a look on his face. I think he just has resting, miserable face. That's just his natural state of being. If you look back and remember 2 or 3 years ago when Ben Affleck was dating super hot and young Cuban actress Ana de Armas, he was the same way. That's just who he is and how he is in public.
I'm glad you said that because I have said the same thing publicly. I don't understand all of the nasty things being said about Jennifer Lopez. I'm not on that train. I might have laughed at one meme or two, but I'm not sharing them, and I don't really understand the hate campaign against her right now. When it comes to their relationship, are you well, actually, specifically, you said, and I thought it was an interesting comment. You mentioned the fact that Ben was out seen at a restaurant when, with all of the chaos, with all of the headlines and the tabloid fodder, could he have not just shown up for one event, kind of to shut that down? So is that kind of where you're at right now, where like maybe somebody could step up and shut it down? Or do you think that maybe there are really problems, so they are trying to lay low as much as they can when they're in the middle of press?
Both Ben and Jen have been in this industry for 30 plus years. They know everything they do is scrutinized. So going to a premiere or not going to a premiere will be talked about. But while we speculate, the public doesn't really know what's going on. The romantic in me has the theory, which is my best case scenario. And that is that Ben, who has openly struggled with addiction, might have suffered a relapse. And Jen, out of love, said, I want to give you space to just focus on getting better. And maybe even that place that he's staying at can also serve as a treatment facility for him. I don't know if that's true. That's just the theory. And then just before we went live today, I saw photos of the house that Ben Affleck is renting in Los Angeles. If those watching have not seen it yet, it is a full-on compound. It is an estate. He's renting it for $100,000 a month. It is ginormous. So many bedrooms. To me, that, now that I fully understand, the writing seems to be on the wall. I don't think Ben would have chosen a place that big that's also very close to his ex and the mother of his children, Jennifer Garner's house. He would not have done that unless he was planning to be in that house for a long time.
Oof. Oh, that just crushes my soul. Okay, let's go back to 2001. We were both babies. Um, Talking about that, they meet on the set of Geely. Did you ever? I never even saw this movie, but it's always kind of been known as a box office flop. But it's where they truly fell in love. Did you ever see the movie? I'm guilty of it. I haven't seen it.
Most people did not see this movie, and most people did not watch this most recent movie where Ben also starred, that Jennifer conceived. It was a musical film. You would think that she would get the hint that we want them to separate that. We don't want them working together professionally anymore because it hasn't clicked for people. But I love that about Jennifer Lopez. She is so rich that she can bankroll her own projects, which is what she did with that musical film, and she can do whatever she wants. Isn't that the dream? To be so inspired that I want to make art about my love.
Yeah.
I want JLO money.
Exactly. No, in 2002, he did make a cameo in the Jenny from the Block music video, and that I loved. But that was also not necessarily them trying to tell a separate story. That was them honestly kind of giving the middle finger to the media. That was them really kind of saying, this is the chaos you've created around our relationship is ridiculous. So on top of it being an absolute bop, you have them kind of taking up for themselves in a creative way. So I think that that might be why that worked publicly.
I disagree. I
Oh,
think the
really?
Jenny from the Block music video was a mistake because it left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Like, look at them showing off and boasting and living this ultra A-list glamorous life. And I don't feel sorry for them. Sure, they have paparazzi following them and the media talking about them incessantly, but they're these A-listers and now they're shoving it in our faces. I
Right.
think if you were to ask them, they probably regret that moment too.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. I mean, I like have it seared in my brain when he's like touching her bottom.
On the boat. Yes.
All right, so they get
Like, look
engaged.
at us. We have so much money. We're on a fancy yacht.
Exactly. And our butt is amazing. I wish I could have problems like that. All right. So they get engaged in November. This was very like an A-list way of confirming it through Diane Sawyer, this sit-down interview. And he got her that beautiful $2.5 million Harry Winston pink diamond. Is that another, do you think that that was another thing that turned people off? The announcement via Diane Sawyer? Is that too snooty in a world like where social media is starting to catch up? You have MySpace right now, and like maybe should they have been a little bit more humble around the announcement?
I don't think the announcement had any issue whatsoever. I think just from the very beginning, there were those that were on board, and then there were those that just didn't buy it, that didn't see them together. JLo prior to that was with Diddy, and Ben Affleck is very different from Diddy. So they never thought it would last. They never thought it was a good match. And perhaps those people were right.
All right. Well, in September of 2003, they postponed their wedding. And I didn't understand this until doing the research for my interview with you. They released a statement that was very dramatic about how they were hiring 3 separate decoy brides, and it was exhausting trying to, try to have one up on the paparazzi. And they wanted to marry, in a low key way. And it was just too much to deal with. We find out years later that they broke up 3 days before she released that statement. So they were done by the time this statement is released. I felt a little bit betrayed there, Perez. Like, I was like, wow, you guys, you definitely got one up on us.
Yes and no. Recently, Jennifer has said that the media really did play a huge role in their breakup back in the early 2000s. So she wasn't 100% truthful, but it was grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And I feel for them. The wedding was going to be this over the top extravaganza in Santa Barbara, and just days before it was canceled, and that would be very embarrassing to a bride to be, especially more so than him even. Uh, People speculated, oh, he got cold feet, he dumped her, and we still don't know who was the one to pull the plug. Was it him? Was it her? I would have to guess it was him.
That I would agree with you there. They finally announced the separation in January of 2004. But it's interesting to me because when Jen reflects on it on the Graham Norton show in 2010, she says, I love Ben. He's a great guy. So she is still, years later, so kind in her verbiage about him and so uplifting in her verbiage about him. But it's only a few months later that she marries Mark Anthony. After the breakup, after the official announcement that she's no longer with Ben Affleck. At the time, did that catch you off guard?
No, I thought that was a very polished superstar way to respond. Jennifer typically hasn't been one to throw stones. It's the other way around. It's other celebrities, whether it be Mariah
Mariah Carey.
Carey or others, to insult her. And Jen has always been very tactful in all of her public interactions. I understand that privately there have been issues that people have had grievances about. Allegedly, she's been rude in the past. But a lot of those instances happened such a long time ago, and I am a firm believer that people can grow and be better and do better, and we shouldn't be judging and holding people back over mistakes they made 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, so she
And
married.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
also, Ben Affleck has said, and Jen echoed this, that during his marriage to Jennifer Garner, he was still in love with Jennifer Lopez. We
Right.
found out about these letters that he wrote to her expressing his love over the whole time. That's why when they got back together, I really thought, wow, this really is a special love story. It didn't work the first time around, but they're in different places in their lives, and it's going to work this time.
Fingers crossed. We're not there yet. Okay, so I'll just speed through this. She marries Mark Anthony June 2004. She then Ben marries Jennifer Garner 2005. They both, I mean, Jennifer Lopez and Mark, two kids. Garner and Affleck, they have three beautiful children, and they go on with their lives. Separate at different times, but they reunite in April 2021. It was really kind of on the lowdown. But it was interesting because I felt like Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez, aside from Southern Charm cheating rumor drama, I felt like they were such a cute couple. Did you feel that way about Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez? Were you disappointed when they split?
No, I was thrilled that they split because it's way more than just that Southern Charm star.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued, so I will just say allegedly, Alex Rodriguez has a lot of skeletons in his closet,
Oh,
even while he was with Jennifer Lopez.
whoa, whoa, Perez, I love when you talk to me this way. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, well, that's good to know because you have mentioned Ben's resting misery face. But Alex always had that grin on his face. Like they always looked like they were having so much fun together. And I do think that public misconception, I guess, is what it ultimately is, was that they looked so happy and in love. And I do believe that you're right. Ben Affleck loves Jennifer Lopez. He just might not be as comfortable sharing her or sharing that with the world as comfortable as she is blogging about it, newsletters, videos, movies, lyrics, that just might not be in his comfort zone.
Then she's not the one for him.
Wow. I mean,
Like, look at Taylor Swift also. There's a lot of parallels there. Her previous relationship with Joe Alwyn was very private, almost to the point where Taylor became somebody else for him. Now she's with Travis Kelce, and it's back to whom she really is, and she's flourishing and shining. I'm starting to think, that They gave it a good try twice, and Jennifer should just go on to husband number five, whomever that may be.
Oh, she's a modern day Elizabeth Taylor. I God love her. God love her. But
She loves love.
yeah, she's a sucker for love, and I think that that's an admirable quality. So, I some of these headlines over the last few days, Ben Affleck feels like JLO has a hard time feeling satisfied. Jennifer Lopez is confiding in Jennifer Garner amid fears Ben Affleck might relapse. Um, Ben Affleck goes out to dinner solo. Uh, what are you predicting? What is your prediction for Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez over the next few weeks?
They're done. It's
Oh,
over.
oh,
Ben is just being a supportive love and trying to stall as much as possible until her tour is over. She's going on the road in a little bit. And that also has been met with a lot of negative headlines about poor ticket sales, and many shows were canceled. I think when that's done, we'll get an official announcement that they're divorcing.
oh my gosh, you're crushing my soul. And when you saw Jennifer answer the question about the status of her relationship, first of all, did you see any of the junket interviews that she did for Atlas? Because I did, and she was incredibly guarded. Like, and then they were very strategic in putting her with two additional actors. So when you're told you have those 3 minutes with them, you have to get, you don't want to ignore somebody so that you get your Jennifer Lopez fix. You're like, okay, I'll give, and so they were very strategic in the way that they placed her throughout the junkets so that she would have a wall, a border around her to protect her. She was miserable looking in the junkets because I think she feared a question that was inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate too. You said it was inappropriate in one of your YouTube videos, but what was your reaction to the way she responded to that video? Because there is a moment of like just heartache in her face, and you feel it in your core if you watch that video.
I think it just showed us that even though she wants to present as this very strong superhuman, she is just human like the rest of us. She's got an incredible work ethic and is super professional, but she hurts just like anybody else going through relationship issues also experience.